Yeah, the midsole is definitely one of the highlights or main focuses while creating the shoe. Unfortunately, I cannot tell you more about the non-compression molded EVA, but what I can tell you is that that was one of the key parts to come to the weight where we ended up. I would love to hand you the shoe through the camera, which I can't, but you would immediately feel the difference to the Lightstrike Pro that we are using on the Pro 3. We are still using the energy rods inside. Put it to the white wall here. In between the two layers, there are the energy rods. They are the same material, but we have tweaked them a little bit because we have, as mentioned also in the briefing before, we have identified to move the rocker back a little bit. So instead of being around 70% on Pro 3, we now have the rocker at 60%. And with that, we had to adjust the geometry of the energy rods a little bit. It provides more energy return and it has a more propulsive feeling underfoot. So when we took the shoe to Kenya some months ago, it was interesting to see the rocker point helped us to for the athletes to run uphill and downhill in a better way. So we didn't say what we changed. We kind of let them tell us what they feel is different, and they had a great propulsive feeling while they were running uphill and downhill, which is not very common throughout the races. I mean, Berlin is the flattest course that we have, but in their trainings, that is also something they consider. So Continental rubber is what we usually use on all our models within the Adizero space. This is now a completely new innovation from Adidas. It is not Continental, but it is a different kind of rubber. It has this forefoot piece that I'm holding up, but it also has two little pieces in the heel. It is the thinnest and lightest outsole we've ever made. It is super, super thin, and that's where we were able to save a lot of weight as well. Probably you have the question if the grip is the same, and we have tested the shoes with the athletes throughout their rain runs, how they call it, and the grip is exactly the same as on Pro 3, for example. So we really tested it to its limits. They went in the rain, in the sun, uphill, downhill, which could cause abrasion, but it didn't. So the grip is really great. For durability, it's important to mention that when the customer buys the shoe, we will have a little disclaimer card in the box where we as Adidas say that this shoe is built for one race plus familiarization. That is our recommendation. That doesn't mean that afterwards the shoe will fall apart, but that is the recommended usage we give from Adidas. So the stack height in the rear foot is 39 millimeter and in the forefoot 33. So that means we have a midsole drop of 6 millimeter. Yes, so that was the feedback from the athletes. A lot of the stable feel comes from the heel, actually, on the upper. So when we look at the upper, I mean, you've probably seen it already, but it's a super lightweight, translucent mesh. We have updated the lacing area to make it lighter. We have updated the tongue. But where the athletes said, please don't push it too far, was the heel. Yeah, the heel is the comfort and support aspect on the shoe. And we have taken it from Pro 3 with the foam pockets that we have on the side and the slingshot that we have around it to have a good lockdown fit. Correct, yes, that's a new construction that we have. So when we take the upper apart, you can see that we have a thin strobel here, as we call it. It is very soft and very light. Again, it was a challenge in the beginning to figure out if the athletes feel confident to run in a shoe without a sock liner. But now we have this construction. They are very happy about it. Well, it would make my life easier if we achieve that, Robbie, to be honest. Yes, that would be a dream. Let's see. It always depends on the conditions and the day, right? As Adidas running right now, that's how we want it to be innovative, right? Use what we have, but tweak it to a point where it's still similar but different, and end up with lighter components without changing the whole components that we have. Just make it lighter. For now, it's the pinnacle model of the Adizero franchise. Of course, for future, we would like to learn from this model, right? For us, it's also an untapped territory we're stepping into, because it is the lightest shoe we've ever created. So I think there will be some key learnings we can take from it and potentially bring it into our other models, but that's still to be defined. Well, it's quite hard for me to predict the future, right? But I see this to be a potential to open up conversations around what will be the next within racing shoes, yes. Just because it also tested so well with the athletes, where I was not surprised but happy about, right? It's also something where you give them a shoe and it's 40% lighter than a Pro 3. So at first they're like, whoa, what is this? Can we really run in this? And then they test it and they are amazed by how well it performs. So yeah, definitely, I believe it has potential when it comes to elite racing, for sure.